Hi Grade 8. This week we're doing a Cypriot salad with halloumi skewers. So it originates in Cyprus, which is an island off the shores between Greece and Turkey. Cyprus is in the Mediterranean Sea, and you might have heard that the Mediterranean diet has many benefits. It's so healthy because there's lots of fresh produce, lots of fish, lots of grains and pulses, fruit and vegetables, and olive oil. So they're all ingredients that are great to make up the bulk of our diet. To start making the salad, you need 1/4 cup of bulgur wheat. Sometimes it's called bulgur, sometimes it's called burgle, and it's very similar to cracked wheat. The difference with bulgur wheat is that it's partially cooked and then cracked and dried, and so it doesn't take as long to cook. So put the bulgur wheat into the saucepan and we put in 1/3 cup of water. Be really exact with measuring that out. If you put too much in, it won't be able to absorb it all and you'll end up with a sloppy salad and it's really unpleasant. Put that onto the heat and it needs to come to the boil. Don't put a lid on it. And as soon as it's boiling, then you'll remove it from the heat, put the lid on and let that steam so that it will absorb the liquid and be a really chewy but pleasant consistency. The next thing we need to do is to toast we've got pine nuts, pumpkin seeds and almonds. And so put those into a dry frying pan, turn it, you can put it on to 3/4, but you need to stir it the whole time and not take your eyes off it for a minute, because that will heat up quite quickly and the oils in the seeds and nuts will help the outside to toast. As soon as that bulgur wheat is at a rolling boil, put the lid on, remove it from the heat, turn it off and leave that for 10 minutes. It needs that amount of time to absorb. In the meantime, we keep on stirring. You can give those a shake like that so that they're constantly moving and toasting on different sides. Otherwise they'll burn on one side and not be toasted at all on the other. If you leave them in the pan after they have got to the right colour, the heat that's retained in the pan will continue to cook them, so that then they'll end up burning. So as soon as they're nicely toasted, make sure you just tip them onto an enamel plate. The seeds and nuts add a really delicious crunch to the salad. So you get the roasted, toasted flavour and the crunch from the seeds and nuts, as well as the freshness from the herbs and the carbohydrate from the bulgur wheat and lentils. They get added in, and there's a little bit of sweetness from the currants. The toasting of the seeds and nuts enhances the flavour so much. So I've just tipped those onto an enamel plate. Next we need to chop the herbs really finely. We've got some Italian parsley, coriander and mint. So that's really going to enhance the salad with the fresh taste. Chop that up super fine. You can start building the salad in a bowl. So scrape that in, and then we need to add into that the finely diced red onion. Red onion is sweeter than a brown onion and you can eat it raw without it being too overly strong. You want the pieces quite fine, so you can dice it a little finer after you've done your initial cutting up. So add the diced onion into the herbs, and then we'll add into that the lentils. Lentils are very common in Cypriot cuisine. Chickpeas are too. You've got the currants, which are going to add that nice little bit of sweetness. The olive oil, red wine vinegar, so you get the slight sourness from that, and then our soaked burgle wheat. When you take the lid off the burgle wheat, you shouldn't see virtually any more liquid in there at all. So if there is, just give it a moment longer on the heat. But in goes the burgle wheat and our toasted nuts and seeds. Give that a good stir up and then you can serve it up onto 2 plates. To make the dressing, we add some thick Greek yogurt, cumin and honey. mix together, and that will go on to the top of the salad. I'll just leave that dressing and the pomegranate arils aside. They will top the salad later, but we'll put that on at the last minute. Next, we need to prepare the halloumi skewers. Cut the halloumi into 4 pieces. Halloumi can be made from goats, sheep's or cow's milk, and the particular thing about that is that it's stored in a salty liquid called brine. So halloumi is quite salty and it has a high melting point, which means we can fry it and it will keep its shape. The zucchini cut into quarters, and the mushroom, just give that a wipe over with a piece of damp paper towel and cut that into quarters. So now we want to thread the vegetables and the halloumi onto a skewer. Because we're just doing small skewers, we'll just have the 3 pieces on, a piece of zucchini, a piece of halloumi and a piece of mushroom. When you're threading it on, keep in mind that you're going to fry this in a frying pan, and you want each of the pieces to be sitting at a similar point so that they all fry evenly. So I actually put that onto the chopping board and slid it in so it's going to be at the similar height, because if one's up in the air compared to the other, it's not going to get a fried base. To cook the skewers, you need to heat the frying pan onto a medium heat. Brush the top and the base with the olive oil, and what doesn't get used for brushing, just put into the frying pan. So these can go in, and you'll just fry that until the halloumi goes golden, and turn them once and fry the other side. Halloumi cheese is an example of what is often used in meze dining, which is where you have lots of small plates that are shared in a dining experience. And so other things that would be used in a Cypriot cuisine would be olives, stuffed vine leaves, as well as, fried halloumi, and kofta, which is bulgur wheat pastry filled with spiced meat and deep fried. We're frying this in a frying pan, but roasting meats or vegetables over hot coals is quite traditional. The smell coming up from this frying mushroom and zucchini and halloumi is amazing. So I'm just going to carefully turn that over to let the other side have a chance to fry. So we're just using the mushroom and zucchini, but in Cyprus the traditional vegetables used aren't perhaps the extreme variety that we have available in our supermarkets. More likely to be zucchini and onion, okra, potatoes, beans, artichokes, and lots of salad ingredients. Okay, that's nearly done. So I will dollop this yogurt dressing on the top, just a spoonful on each one. And put a few of the pomegranate arils on top. That makes a lovely garnish. And then we're ready to place a couple of these skewers onto each plate. When you're eating this, you would probably remove the skewers to make for easier eating. And there's your Cypriot salad with halloumi skewers. Delicious.